Hello, welcome to this reading. Today's tarot reading will be about your love predictions for 2021. Very exciting. We have 3 piles to choose from: pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Now, if you're wondering why I'm wearing gloves, it's because my nails are really wretched and I don't really like to show them. And also, I kind of like these gloves. I think they give me like an air of mystery. I don't know. So, hello. Say hi to my gloves. Okay, I have GIFs put up on the screen attached to each pile. They will be looping for about a minute. If you are choosing based on the GIFs, I would suggest that you kind of just let your eyes lose focus for a while and let them naturally drift to the GIF that is calling out to you. Or if you don't like to choose visually, then I would suggest just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and then ask your guides for guidance. Ask them which pile is the pile that most resonate with you, and the timestamps will be down below. I'll keep the GIFs looping for about 60 seconds so you can take your time in choosing. And what else do I want to say? Yes, so sometimes when I do pick a card readings, when I watch pick a card videos on YouTube, I find that there is more than one pile that is calling out to me. I think that's fine. Sometimes I would have a primary message for me in the first pile, but I think that I would feel that there's a secondary message for me in the second pile, so I'll watch that pile that as well and extract the messages that resonate with me. So if you feel that there's more than one pile that resonates with you, feel free to choose more than one pile, but you know yourself best, so use your intuition to extract the messages that you think are for you. So with that, I'll start the reading in about 60 seconds. See you then. Hi, pile number 1. If you chose pile number 1, here are your cards. We've got the 3 of Wands. We've got the 8 of Elixirs or 8 of Cups. We've got here the 7 of Rods or 7 of Wands. And we have here Servant, Destroyer, Patience, Octavia E. Butler, the Future. We have the Toad. We have here the Peacock. We have the Courageous Peony, multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen. We have I'm sorry, defenselessness, righting past wrongs, uprooting. We have here waning gibbous to pleasure. And here, new moon beginnings. So because this is a very general love reading for 2021, I might get multiple messages that may or may not contradict each other, or and because this is a general reading, there are messages that may or may not resonate with you. So I would suggest that you use your intuition. I think that you know intuitively which messages resonate with you or not. And the thing is, I get like multiple messages from this pile. I think it might be things that will happen throughout the course of the year, because there are ups and downs in everyone's love life. So don't be too caught up with if you receive any negative messages. So first up, I would like to start with the tarot cards. Let's start with the Three of Wands here, or Three of Rods. So if you're single and you're looking for a relationship, I don't really see anything serious for you in 2021. The reason I say that is because of the Three of Wands. Like I don't get a committed relationship vibe from Three of Wands. It's more of someone going out and exploring their choices, exploring the world, trying out different things, trying out different people. And I also sense that from the pleasure card. Now the pleasure card is not about long-lasting bliss, long-lasting happiness. It's about pleasure in that moment. It doesn't mean that you can't have like momentary short-lived pleasures in a long-term relationship. I just think that in this case, if you're single and you're looking for a relationship, I think that in 2021 your love life would be more of just having fun, dating different people, just exploring your sexuality, even just letting go of all that heaviness that comes with committed relationships. Not that committed relationships are a burden or that they're a shackle, but for you it's about living in the moment. It's about dating, it's about having fun and not caring too much about it. Now, new moon beginnings, I do see new relationships happening. So if you're single and looking for relationships, that's great. I just don't think they are necessarily committed relationships. They might just be flings, very fun flings. Now, I also see that with the Seven of Wands, I kind of see you fending off suitors. That's the image I get from the Seven of Wands. I think that you do have a lot of choices, a lot of suitors, but I get the sense that you are holding out. You might be holding out for someone, and you're not really into them. You might have fun with the different flings you have, but there might be this one particular person you're hung up over, or perhaps you will meet someone next year that you'll meet someone in 2021 that you fall in love with, but that person might not reciprocate. So, and as a result, you might not be open to other relationships. Even though there might be other people out there for you. And the reason I say that you are hung up over someone is also because of the Eight of Cups, and even the Three of Wands. Actually, the Eight of Cups is about walking away from something that does not serve you, walking away from something familiar. Letting go of the negative feelings that do not serve you, even though it's like letting go of someone you've loved in the past. Letting go of your first love, that kind of vibe. Because you've just grown as a person and that relationship does not serve you anymore. Now, in this case, I sense that you are kind of reluctant. You feel reluctant to walk away from that situation, that person, the emotions that do not serve you. With the Eight of Cups, you're holding on to that person. I think perhaps you feel like they might come around, they might you have a chance of dating them, you have a chance of having a committed relationship with them. Now, based on the cards, I would say that you may or may not have a chance of having a relationship with that person. Because of the patience card, I feel like there might be you might have a possible future with that person, but now is not the time. And with the Three of Wands as well, Three of Wands, in a traditional Rider-Waite depiction, we see a man looking out into the horizon, looking at his ships sailing out into the sea. This is someone who has planned his adventure and sailed out into the sea, and now he's kind of like just looking back and taking stock of what had happened since he sailed out. So with the Three of Wands, there's also a sense that you are looking back, but it's not a bad thing. Like, it's not like you're hung up over the past. It's like you're looking back at your past, at the lessons you've learned, and taking stock of it, and thinking about how these lessons could be useful for you in the future. So in this case, for this like romance reading, I think that throughout the course of 2021, you will learn life lessons from romantic relationships. There will be ups and downs, there will be hang-ups, but it will make you stronger. Once you've learned to let go of it, once you've learned to just enjoy the moment, just enjoy your relationships with other people, you will be able to use those life lessons and grow as a person and use them as lessons for your future romantic relationships. I do think that there will be some tumultuous moments in your love life in 2021 because of the I'm sorry card here, the courageous peony card here, and this card here, Octavia E. Butler, the future. And of course, the servant and the destroyer card. There's a lot to unpack here, so bear with me for a moment. So I think that in 2021, whether you're single or whether you're in a committed relationship, I think there will be moments or a moment, an event in which you unintentionally hurt someone else and you feel guilty about it. Like this card here, I'm sorry. Defenselessness, writing past wrongs, uprooting. I think that this is perhaps you feel insecure about your relationship with that person, and it caused you to act out a little, to be you might be controlling, you might be jealous. There's a feeling I'm getting from that person, and you might hurt that person in some way, or say some things to that person in some way that you didn't mean to, in the heat of the moment. And perhaps that's what the Eight of Cups here is talking about. Perhaps you feel very guilty about what you said or what you did to that person, and you can't forgive yourself, you can't get over it. I think that in time, you will be able to forgive yourself. This is a little bit hard to describe because we're talking about things that happen in the future. But basically, I think that you might come to hurt somebody else in the future, but after some time has passed, I think that you will come to learn to forgive yourself. You will come to learn to right your wrong and make up to that person, apologize to that person. I think that you might be hung up over that mistake for some time though in 2021, because of the Eight of Cups. I sense a reluctance to walk away from it. And because of the Patience card, I feel like you might be, perhaps you're very anxious to make things okay with that person, but that person might be angry with you or might ignore you for a while. So, but what the cards here are saying, is to be patient. And with the new moon beginnings as well, I sense that just be patient. They will come around eventually, and perhaps you can have a new start with that person. With the Seven of Wands as well, Seven of Wands is about conflict. It's a very strong, fiery energy. There's almost too much fire. You are fighting off something. I mentioned that it could be you, fending off other suitors because you are hung up over that one person, but it could also be talking about your relationship with that person that whom you've hurt. Or it might be talking about potential conflict between you and the other person. You might feel like they do not get you, and perhaps that's why you say something that you might come to regret. So be careful about it. And yeah, with the Destroyer card, be careful. I don't think you want to destroy a relationship with that person. I think that you want to have a relationship with this person, but yeah, perhaps you have a very fiery temper and it gets in the way sometimes. Perhaps, yeah, you see the volcano erupting. Perhaps your anger is getting into the way. You might say something that you do not mean and end up hurting that person. With the Seven of Wands, I also sense some insecurity. You feel like you have to fend for yourself. You feel very defensive in a way because you feel like there's something out to get you. I think you're insecure about yourself because with the courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. I feel like this could be a situation where you feel insecure about yourself, about your relationship with that other person, or with you feel insecure in a relationships in general. I feel like you might sometimes feel like you can't be yourself around other people because if you be yourself, they might not like you, and that might cause you to be insecure, and that insecurity gets in your way because insecurity makes us act out that in ways that really do not serve us. Just to give an example, you might start to be over controlling, or you might start to have like this unhealthy power dynamic in your relationship. I say that because of the Servant card here. You might feel like you have to give, you have to put in so much more than the other person in order for them to love you. And I also see that with the future card, Octavia E. Butler. Okay, let's look at the illustration in detail. You see this. I think the illustrator is portraying Octavia E. Butler as a sort of scientist person who's dissecting a body to learn more about the body, the human body. Now, the vibe I get from this card is I've never read Octavia E. Butler, but I'm reminded of Frankenstein here. There's sort of an unhealthy relationship, not exactly unhealthy relationship, but an unbalanced power dynamic between the person stuck on the table being dissected and the person doing the dissecting. There's I think that if I'm not wrong, Octavia E. Butler's books are also about the relationship between man and science, man and nature. Is one larger than the other? Does one control the other? And it's perhaps also about trying to coexist between man and science, man and nature. Does man control nature? That sort of stuff. So I think this is like a metaphor between you and your relationship with other people. Perhaps both of you might be very controlling, might try to make both of you might try to make decisions in your relationship. I think that this is a very common problem that couples face. When making small decisions like what to eat for dinner, sometimes people have really bad arguments over small things like that. Not necessarily because they just feel very strongly about what they want to eat, but because whoever decides what to eat for dinner that night is a person who makes all the decisions in that relationship. So they fight over it because they feel like if they don't get to choose, they will be stepped over by the other person. They will always have to be subservient to the other person. I feel like this could be some of the issues that you face in 2021, the relationship issues you might face in 2021. Now, this could apply to you whether you're single or in a committed relationship or looking for new relationships. I think that what the cards are also trying to say is for you to remember the pleasurable moments in a relationship while you love the other person. Think about how the other person makes you feel, how happy they make you feel, and also try to do nice things for the other person. Try to do like little things to brighten up their day. With the Octavia E. Butler Future card and the Patience card, these two cards here, I feel like the cards are also telling you that 2021 for you is a time for you to be forward looking, look to the future. There might be some conflicts, some tumultuous moments in a relationship, but it's an inevitable part of life. Just it's for you to learn to let go and to reassess how you relate to other people. With the Peacock card and the Toad card here, I kind of sense it could talk about multiple things. For example, if you're single, you're dating, you're out looking for a new relationship, the Peacock card and the Toad card might talk about. They might be a representation of how you see other people. I feel like you might have unrealistic expectations of what to look for in a relationship. You want everybody to be like the peacock, full of splendor, beautiful and exciting. And if they're not, you kind of see them as a toad, unexciting, grotesque even. But the thing is, or you might when you meet someone new, you might start to build this fantasy of them in your own head, like how they are a bit larger than life. They are dreamy. They are everything. They are perfect. They're everything that you could ever ask for. The peacock card, and then over time you start to get this illusion, and you start to think they might be the toad, or it could be the opposite. I think the cards are telling you that some people might not seem to like they might be for you at first, like the toad, but once you get to know them, they might become. I think of was that fairy tale, that story, the princess and the frog. Yeah, they might be someone totally unexpected, and you might start to connect with them. They might be exciting like the peacock. They might fill you with desire. I think I read the little guidebook that came with this this oracle deck, and I think the author associates the peacock card with desire. Sorry, that was the thunder rumbling. Yeah, the author associates the peacock card with desire, with wanting, being the feeling of being dazzled and wanting that thing so much. And the words that are associated with the toad card in the little guidebook that comes with the oracle deck talks about grotesque, but also humor. I think it's also telling you, the cards are also telling you that 2021 is time for you to have fun in the relationships. Perhaps try out new relationships, like date different people. You might find that perhaps you might date someone that you've been friends with for a long time, and after dating them you might see them in a new light. You might dislike someone at first, but once you start to get to know them, you find that they're funny, they're fun to be around. This doesn't necessarily have to be a committed relationship, but just perhaps you might have fun with that person. And with the peacock and toad together, I think this is a very interesting combination. You have the peacock, something so beautiful, and I think, if I'm not wrong, male peacocks are the ones with the amazing feathers, because their feathers are used to attract the female mate. I think that there might be people out there who are trying to attract you, whether they're male or female, whether you're male or female, or gender queer or anything really. Gender doesn't matter here, but just, I think that there are people out there, very attractive people out there, who are trying to date you. I'm not saying that these people are not for you because of the peacock and toad comparison here, but I think that this is just something that this is just something you have to look forward to. Now, if you are in a committed relationship, I do see that there might be people out there who are attracted to you. I don't really see anything in the cards telling you what to do about these new potential relationships. I think that's up to you. If you feel like you're in a relationship that does not serve you, then perhaps this is time for you to leave that relationship and look for other fish in the pond. But if you feel like you want to still be in this committed relationship, then perhaps this is the time for you to work things out with the other person. And yeah, with the peacock and the toad together, I also see that I think it's telling you that people are multifaceted creatures, like multifaceted. It's also mentioned here that you sometimes see people in this very one-dimensional light. They are either good or bad. They are. I think that you have trouble. Sometimes you might have trouble putting yourself into another person's shoes. I think that's very normal, because we are human. We are literally not gods. We are not omniscient. So I think what the cards are trying to tell is that in 2021 you will start to look at people in different lights, consider both the good and the bad, consider different aspects of their personalities. With the future card as well, with and even the Three of Wands, I get the sense that you might be trying to explore the other person. Does that make sense? Like, explore who the other person or who the other people are as human beings, what they are like in different circumstances, how they react to different circumstances, what motivations they have. Just try to get to know. It's about 2021 for you is about trying to get to know the other person and see them trying to really understand them, understand where they're coming from, why they react to a certain situation in a certain way, why they said certain things to you. It's about getting out of your own head. I think it might also be about destroying the aspects of yourself that don't serve your relationships and have a new beginning, a whole new self. You might not have a new relationship. If you're in a committed relationship, you might not have a new relationship, but you might reach another phase of a relationship where you have you discover something about the other person, and you yourself, you also grow as a person, and you have a, a renaissance in a relationship almost. And I think that's all I have for this pile, but before I end off this reading, I would like to share with you the passage in the guidebook for the patience card here, the card with the queen. So I read it just now before I began this reading, before I began recording this video, and I thought it was beautiful. I think this card is so beautiful. And so here it is, Patience Dense Fog. Water represents our emotions, our feelings, our subconscious, and our nocturnal dreams. When the water becomes condensed as fog, we can't see clearly. Fog occurs when the air is cooled to the point at which it cannot hold all the water vapor it contains. Thus, it condenses water vapor where it is suspended in the air as fog. We can't see what's ahead. Things that look one way in the fog will look another way in the light. However, when you can't perceive what's on the horizon in life, your imagination can surge forward and your sixth sense can be ignited. The sacred landscape wants you to know, in dense fog, it's best to be quiet and still. For now, don't go forward. Wait. It's hard to see what lies around, and things may not be as they seem. Things that seem one way may in fact be completely different. Be patient. The truth will emerge. In this state of obscured visibility, your imagination and intuition can be sparked. If you can wait long enough, your dreams and inner yearnings can come to fruition. Listen to your intuition and pay attention to those seemingly random thoughts. I think this is the passage paints a beautiful picture for what I was trying to say earlier. Water represents our emotions, and when it becomes condensed as fog, we can't see clearly. I feel like in a romantic relationship, sometimes you might feel so emotional that you might not see the situation clearly. Your thoughts, your imagination start to run wild, and perhaps you misunderstand the other person, perhaps you start to be suspicious of the other person. I think what this card is trying to tell you is that just be patient. Everything will come to light. You don't have to feel insecure. You don't have to feel so overly emotional. If you feel like you're overly emotional or overreacting to a certain situation, perhaps this is time. It would be time for you to take a step back. Perhaps something might appear to you to be a certain way. Perhaps you might think that the other person the other person may seem to have ill intent at first, but over time you might start to realize that's not their intention. They might mean well. I'm not saying that you should be subservient to the other person. Like, I'm not saying that you should be a servant, but that just to learn to put yourself in the other person's shoes and consider their motivations. And that's all I have for group number 1. I hope this resonated with you. If you like this reading, please consider liking and subscribing, or just come back in the future when I upload more readings. And I hope to see you soon. Goodbye. Hi, pile number 2. If you chose pile 2, here are your cards. You have the start of your tarot cards. You have the Ace of Rods, which is the Ace of Wands. You have the Three of Cups, or Three of Elixirs in this deck. And you have the Two of Blades, or Two of Swords. And you have here the Warrior card. Light attributes, strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. And the shadow attributes, trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. And you have Saboteur, highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it will bring into your life, and induces self-destructive behavior or desire to undermine others. You have here the Miracles card with the double rainbows depicted in the illustration. You have here Janet Frame Belonging. Have here Resilience, Winning Gibbous 5. Yes, 5. You have Waxing Gibbous 5, Focus. You have Lifting the Veil, Questioning Everything, Anything Unaligned Must Go. Have Starkeeper, Cosmic Ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. And lastly, you have the Spider card. And here, the Lantern card. Okay, so for those of you who chose group 2, I sense that whether you like it or not, there's probably going to be some drama in store for you in your love life in 2021. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that some people do like having drama in their lives, because it adds some spice, it adds some flavor to your life. It's exciting. It makes you feel alive. It makes you feel like you're in a movie. You're experiencing something new. Whereas there are other people who are like, just please, no drama. I don't want to have any of that nonsense. I don't want any of to have any of those issues. I don't need drama in my life. I just want everything to be calm and peaceful and uneventful. No matter what kind of person you are, I think that this is something that you are most likely going to have to face in 2021. The source of that drama might be different for you, though, because this is a general reading. I do see a few possibilities with the cards here. Now let's start with the most obvious one. I think it's jumping out at me. Let's look at the tarot cards. I think that some of you might be facing a third-party situation in 2021. Now, I'm not saying that if you're in a committed relationship, I'm not saying that you or your partner will cheat. But I do think that one of you might be faced with choices, with having to make a choice, or there might be someone who is attracted to you or your partner, and it might be testing your relationship. You or your partner might not be attracted to that person, but it might be causing some problems in your relationship. They might be very forceful or pushy. If you're single, I see that you are probably going to be torn between two great loves, or maybe you might be torn between a few people. You might feel like you're in love with all of them, that all of them bring something into your life. They connect you with an aspect of yourself they make you feel a certain way, they all bring different things into your life. Or, and this is not going to resonate with many people, I think that some of you might be considering or trying out a polyamorous or open relationship in 2021. Now, I say that because of all three of the tarot cards, actually. Let's start with the Three of Cups. With the Two of Cups in tarot, it's very clear cut, very straightforward. It's about two people connecting with each other. Because the cups in tarot is about emotions, about relationships, it's about intuition, it's about love, really. Whereas the Three of Cups, you're adding another cup into the equation. So there's three people here. I don't know, it might be a good thing for you, but for some of you, it might be one cup too many. And with the Two of Swords, I see that you might be torn between two choices. You might be in a dilemma. You might be at a crossroads. You might not know what to make, what decision to make. But I also see that you will be using your intuition to make that choice. And the Ace of Rods is about, the aces in tarot are about beginnings, and the Ace of Rods is about that new passion, new fiery energy, that new lustful energy, also something exciting, a new passionate lover that's coming into your life. Perhaps this might not necessarily be a bad situation. I think that some of you might like this situation, some of you might not. But based on the cards, I do think that for most of you, there might be this one person whom you're meant to be with. If you are considering an open relationship, perhaps that's your main, well, it feels weird to say it's your main love, but that's the person you're in a committed relationship with. Whereas the other people are, you don't feel the same type of commitment towards. I do think that some of you might be tempted, might be facing temptation in 2021. I say that because of the spider card. The spider kind of reminds me of someone trying to entrap you, someone weaving a web of lies, or just someone trying to tempt you, trying to get you into their web or into their bed. I don't know. But that person might not necessarily be right for you. Now, if you're just looking to have fun, then I'd say like go ahead. But I think that for most of you, that this very tempting person might not be for you. Well, if you are facing that temptation, of course, because I do see a situation where you might not be facing with a third party issue, because the Three of Cups in tarot, of course, it's not just about having a third party in a relationship. It's also about friendship and celebration, whereas the Ace of Wands is about passion. I think that you might be, those of you who are not facing a third party situation, it might just mean that you might meet someone who's a combination of both, who feels like a friend to you, but also gives you that romance, that great romance and lust, the feeling of lust and desire, someone whom you desire, but someone who's also a friend to you. Yes. Or you might be torn between two different people, one who's sexy and exciting, and the other one who's more like a friend and keeps you grounded, keeps you down to earth, who connects with you emotionally. With the spider and the lantern, well, the lantern card is about using your intuition, following your inner guidance, following spirit guides. Whereas the spider is, well, like I said just now, it's about having temptation in your life. So I don't think the cards are telling you to avoid temptation. Because this is a choice that you have to make, whether you want to give into that lust or not. That just came to me. But I think it's saying to navigate with caution, to use your intuition. Don't let someone else take advantage of you. Don't be deceived by someone else. If you are just going to have fun, make sure that everyone in that situation has the same expectations of that relationship. The Lantern card is also about trust. I think it's saying trust in your intuition, but also be careful not to be too trustful of others because of that spider card. Beware of spiders, I guess. But the spider card is also about resilience. See this card here, spider card, because it takes time and effort to weave a web, like in Charlotte's Web, I guess. I think it's telling you that if this is not a situation that you want, if drama is not what you want, if you don't want to have that, if you don't want to have choices, you don't want to have third party relationship, I think it's telling you to be resilient, or that in 2021 you will be resilient. If there is drama going on in your life right now, I think that the cards are telling you in 2021 you will be resilient and you will be able to trust your intuition, or you might be able to trust in others again. Now, I think there's a passage in the guidebook for the resilience card that's very useful. Here it is. Is the camera focusing? Yes, there it is. Having resilience allows us the solidity and yet the freedom to grow and to take that leap to the next level. It allows us to reach higher with a stability that makes things less risky and allows us to create with a bit more pleasure. Remember, mistakes are simply information gathering. That's it. The less drama and guilt and shame you attach to them, the better. The experience of failure or mistakes is simply one of learning. That is all. So yeah, I think it's telling you to have resilience for the events that is to come. And I think that the guidebook does mention something about mistakes. I don't think that you or your partner, if you're in a committed relationship, I don't think that one of you will necessarily make a mistake, although that is a possibility. And by mistake, it's not always about cheating. Like perhaps some of you might do something that upsets the other person or make the other person jealous, whether intentionally or not. I think that the cards are telling you in 2021 it's best for you to just get past it as quickly as possible. Just trust that spirit will help you through that situation. I think that with the resilience card, and with what the passage mentioned, I feel like some of you might feel like you have spent time investing yourself in a wrong person, or perhaps you dated somebody not who you think they are, somebody who appears to be devoted to you but is actually not a good person. Perhaps they are not kind to the people around you, to the other people you care about. Perhaps you feel a little embarrassed for having trusted this person or having been with this person. There's that kind of energy I'm getting. Perhaps you were with someone who made you feel kind of ashamed for whatever reason. Perhaps, and this is not going to resonate with all of you, but perhaps the person you were with is attached to someone else. So I think that the cards are telling you that in 2021, if mistakes are made, just you need to let it go. Get past it. I think that it might feel your situation might feel a little bit difficult at times, but with the miracles card, I sense that things will change in due time. So there might be some tumultuous moments, but don't worry, something better will come along, an improvement in the situation will come along. Oh, with the miracles card, and the lantern card, I sense that some of you might meet someone, or that the person you'll be with will be a guiding force in your life in 2021. They will make you feel at home almost. I see that with the belonging card next to the miracles card as well. Someone, perhaps you're at a stage in your life where you feel a little bit lost, and that person will give you emotional support and be a guiding light in your life. So I know I said that there's a lot of drama in your love life in 2021, but I feel like all this drama is, how do I say, it's not really the point. I think that the drama and the events that happen in your life are just steps along, are just trials for you to find yourself, to discover who you are, for you to grow as a person. And I do see that for you in 2021. I think that 2021, despite all that drama in your life, it's also time for you to focus on yourself. Perhaps it's time in 2021 you learn that, you know, for some of you, romance might not be the most important thing in your life. Perhaps it might be time for you to focus on yourself. I say that, well, very obviously here from the focus card, but also from the Star Keeper card. This card is about being grounded in times of change. It's about being in that moment. It's about connecting to yourself, to who you are, to your spirit guides, it's about your relationship with yourself. I also see that with this card, lifting the veil, anything unaligned must go. It's about you trying to decide who in your life does not serve your highest good, which aspects of yourself you need to cut off, you need to leave behind in 2020, so that in 2021 you can grow as a person. Because with lifting the veil, I see that, it says questioning everything, looking at things. Sorry, there's an issue with my camera just now. Sorry for the pause. I think that in 2021, it's, for some of you, it's also about you learning to know who to trust, learning to be more perceptive, to see people for who they really are. I say that because of lifting the veil. I think that this is not just about you finding out who you are, but also who other people are, so that you don't get tempted by the wrong people, and that you will be able to be around people who uplift your vibrations, who are good to you. I also see that with many of the other cards, really, like for example the Saboteur card, I feel like some of you might do things, or might be prone to doing things that sabotage your relationship with other people. This could be due to low self-esteem. I think it's mentioned in here. Oh, well, it's mentioned in the guidebook because some people sabotage other people because they feel jealous, or they sabotage themselves because they feel like they are not good enough. I feel like this might be affecting your relationship with other people. You might be sabotaging yourself, sabotaging your relationship with other people, or sabotaging other people's relationships. Because sometimes things like that happen. Because we're only human. Sometimes jealousy gets in the way. Sometimes it's unintentional. Perhaps we don't realize that we are. Does it make sense if I say we don't realize we are in our way of other people's relationships? Perhaps we're causing trouble for other people unintentionally. I don't know. An example would be perhaps you're unintentionally flirty with someone else and their partner is jealous. That's just an example. Of course, it's not going to resonate with all of you, but it's just the message I've gotten. And with Warrior, now with the Warrior card, I think that for those of you who suffer from low self-esteem, I think it's telling you that the cards are telling you that in 2021 you'll come into your being. You'll realize that you deserve happiness. You are a warrior. It's also telling you to have resilience and strength to overcome the challenges in your love life that you will have in 2021. To have that you will be able to conquer the challenges. So this card is very interesting. With the light attributes, I think that for those of you who might be tempted by someone else in 2021, I see that you might have the resilience to make the right choice for you. Or some of you, because it says conquering your ego, I think that some of you your ego might be an issue in your relationship. I don't necessarily mean that you are self-absorbed or self-centered. I just mean that perhaps this is just an example. Perhaps some of you have trouble admitting that you are wrong, or perhaps some of you overcompensate for your low self-esteem by being with trying to make yourself the other person's world. Does that make sense to you? But that's just the image I get. Perhaps I think it's telling you that in 2021 it's also time for you to listen to the other people or the other person in your relationship. Now with the shadow attributes, I think that some of you might hurt someone else because you feel a certain way. I'm sorry, it's very vague, but an example would be that you might be attracted to someone else who's already in a relationship, and you might feel like that person belongs with me. It's like that Taylor Swift song, "You Belong With Me," and it might make you do things that you might regret. Like I think that you should make your choices wisely and use your intuition. Don't do things that you regret in the spur of the moment. Don't be that spider who tempts other people when you shouldn't be tempting other people. Yes. I'm sorry if the reading is very negative. Like, I don't really get that feeling though. I think it's just something that you have to overcome, because the Three of Cups at the root of it is also about celebration. It's about friendship. It's about having a happy relationship with other people. So I do think that everything will work itself out in the end. And with Starkeeper, I also think that you'll be able to stay grounded. And with miracles, yes, miracles, I feel like everything will work out in the end. I think that everything will turn out for the better, perhaps in the later part of the year. Perhaps like all that drama will be resolved and everything will be better than they were. Your relationships will be stronger. You'll have a stronger bond. You'll feel more confident of yourself as a person. You will come to know yourself better. You'll grow as a person. That's the feeling I'm getting. And what else? Yes, I do see that there will be a lot of changes in your relationships, in your love life in 2021. Not necessarily, if you're in a relationship, I don't mean that you will break up with the person you're currently with and be with someone else, but I do see some changes in the dynamic in your relationship. With the warrior and the saboteur card. Perhaps there will be a change in the overall vibe of your relationship. Perhaps your relationship will serve you better. And with these two cards, because it says on the cards it's waning gibbous 5 and waxing gibbous 5. Both have the number 5 in them, and 5 in numerology is about change. It's about that tipping point between what you're familiar with and entering a territory that you're not familiar with. And with waning gibbous and waxing gibbous, it's about the image I'm getting is that it's two sides of the same coin. Perhaps you have to let go of things that do not serve you before you can gain new things that serve you in your life. Perhaps you have to let go of resentment, negativity, jealousy before you can have a relationship that serves you, before you can grow as a person. There's 1 and 4 here, and they reduce. 1 plus 4 equals to 5. It's about change as well. With the miracles card, I also sense sort of change, but it's change for the better. Something better will be coming. Your circumstances will be coming. If you're in a relation, your circumstances will become better. Now, if you are in a relationship that does not serve you, I do think that your relationship dynamic might change for the better, or you might just learn to let go of this relationship and find someone else who serves you better. Perhaps if you are facing a third party situation, it's not a bad thing. Perhaps this new person is a person who's right for you. Perhaps this new person is someone whom you desire, but at the same time is also a friend to you. It's also someone who serves your needs emotionally. Is also someone who, like I said, is a guiding force in your life, who uplifts your vibrations. Now with this card, Janet frame belonging, I think it's very interesting because I think that Janet frame writes about being the displacement of the self. I think. Okay, let me show you the guidebook. Right. So she was wrongly diagnosed with schizophrenia and spent much of her 20s in psychiatric wards until she was finally released after narrowly escaping a lobotomy. And afterwards, she spent her life in solitude and wrote about the displaced self. I think that some of you might be in a toxic relationship with someone who gaslights you, or you might have an encounter with someone in 2021 and that person might be toxic for you. They might gaslight you. They are just not right for you. But know that you will be able to overcome the unhealthy addiction to the other person. That's a phrase that came to my mind. you will be, I feel like if you're in a relationship with this person, you might feel like you don't know who you are anymore, because you're always giving, your whole life revolves around that other person. And you might feel reluctant to leave that situation because you unconsciously, subconsciously sabotage yourself. You feel like, you don't know what to do if you're not with that person. Perhaps that situation is very familiar to you. That toxic relationship feels familiar to you and you're afraid of change. But I do think that 2021 for you, like I said, is a time of change. It's time for you to grow as a person, to come into your being, to be that warrior, to let spirit guide you, to lead you to a path, to a relationship that serves you better, that makes you feel such indescribable joy. There's a feeling I get from the miracles card, that everything, that you deserve all the happiness in the world. So, like I said, this might not resonate for you. This is not something that resonates with everyone. So be careful of toxic people in your life and learn to love yourself as a person. I think the message I'm getting from Spirit is that you have to learn to love yourself, to trust in your intuition before you can learn to love other people, or else you might find yourself being stuck in relationships that do not serve you. Perhaps you might find yourself wanting people that are not for you. And that's all I have for group number 2. I hope this resonated with you. I hope to see you again. If you like this reading, please thumbs up and subscribe, and come back for another reading in the future. Thank you. So if you chose pile number 3, here are your cards. You have the 2 of Cups. This is beautiful for romance reading. You have the Empress. And you have the Moon. Now let's look at your oracle cards here. You have Priest. You have Judge. You have Illumination. I think this is the first time I've drawn this card. The illustration is so beautiful. You have here, you have Emily Dickinson, the Soul. You have Waning Gibbous 6 Wisdom. You have Waxing Crescent 1 Realization. You have here Lost Lens, Soul Memories and Gifts. You've done this before. You have Cracked Open, Rock Bottom, Surrender to the Alchemy of Life. You have here Knife, and you have Milk. Okay, so looking at the cards, I think that those of you who chose pile 3, and this is something that you might be feeling right now, or this might be a phase that you will have in 2021. But some of you might feel like you're going to die alone. You're never going to find anyone. You give up on dating. Some of you might feel very caustic, and yeah, you might be so caught up in that feeling because something did not turn out well. Perhaps a relationship did not work out, and you might feel like giving up. But Spirit wants you to know that you will find someone, and this someone would be perfect for you. They will feel like your soulmate, or whether you believe in soulmates or not, but this person might feel like they are the right person for you. They might be everything that you've always wanted. So don't give up. There's a bottom line of this spread. Don't give up. Now I see that some of you might have a period where you feel like giving up. You feel like you'll never find someone. You're sick and tired of being alone, because of the Emily Dickinson card here. I don't know if you've watched 30 Rock. There's this episode where Tina Fey's character Liz Lemon breaks up with her boyfriend Carol, I think, played by Matt Damon. I forgot which boyfriend it was, but I think it's Carol. Anyway, she breaks up with her boyfriend. She adopts a cat, names the cat Emily Dickinson, and decides that she's going to gracefully transition into spinsterhood. And yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind when I see Emily Dickinson. I think that some of you might be feeling this way or might feel this way sometime in the future. But Spirit is telling you to not give up because there is someone out there for you. Well, I think that some of you might have felt hurt in the past. Well, this is evident with the knife card. Some of you might have felt like this person broke your heart, drove a knife right through your heart and left you bleeding, metaphorically, of course. And because of that, you've lost hope for romance. You felt like romance isn't real. You'll never find romance in your life. Happy people are just deceiving themselves. I know you might not feel this way, but that's just a feeling I get. That you might have experienced heartbreak in the past that really hurt you, that really destroyed your optimism, your hope. And because of that, you might feel very defensive in your future relationships or even your current relationship. The hurt that you felt might have been something that happened way in the past, but it changed you as a person. And because of that, you don't feel comfortable opening up to other people. You feel like you have to protect your heart. You don't feel like you can let other people in because they might hurt you. And I also see that with the moon card. Now the moon is about illusions, it's about fear, it's about the unknown. But there's also something very romantic about the moon, we in cultures across the world, we've always used the moon as a metaphor, as a symbol for mystery, for something that is beautiful, for something that is ephemeral. And I think that there's a part of you is afraid of that. You're afraid of the ephemeral. You're afraid of something that doesn't feel concrete. You are afraid. You're afraid of other people. Like you feel like you'll never know someone else fully, because how could you? We can never know someone else fully. We can never be in someone else's head. And because of that, your imagination starts to go wild. You start to imagine things about that person that may or may not be true. And you don't feel like you can open yourself up to the other person. A spirit is telling you that this is, if you've hit rock bottom and you don't feel like you can trust someone else, don't feel that way, because you can open yourself up. You can let other people in. And I do see that there will be someone for you who's, with the Two of Cups, there will be someone for you whom you can trust, with the Milk card, I get a sense of nostalgia, of childhood. I feel like this could be someone whom you've known for ages, or it could be someone who returns you to the hopeful, innocent self that you were before you experienced all the hurt, before you were hurt, before you became so defensive, so suspicious of other people. You might not necessarily be suspicious of other people, but I only say that because of the moon card here. Yeah, someone who makes you feel secure, makes you feel happy and joy, makes you feel like everything is going to be okay, makes you feel like you can enjoy. This is someone whom you can enjoy little things in life with. So with Judge and the Two of Cups, I sense that your relationship with this other person will be one that is very balanced, because in the previous piles I kind of sense that they the people who chose the previous piles might be in relationships that where one party is more dominant than the other, where there might be conflicts because one person might feel like they are always giving and giving and giving. One person might feel like they are the one who's holding the relationship. There might be some imbalances there. But for you, pile number 3, I feel like this other person, your relationship with this other person is balanced. You are both devoted in this relationship, and there's almost a sense that you are as much lovers as you are friends. That you balance out, that your personalities balance each other out. I think so. You might have traits with this person where you are completely alike, and traits with this that are completely different from this other person. But it doesn't matter whether you're similar or alike, because the two of you are perfectly in sync. You kind of fit together like two pieces of a puzzle. Two of you are in complete sync with one another, in complete balance. That's the message I get from the Judge card. Although with the Judge card, I feel like some of you might also have a phase where there might be a period of time where you might be having some troubles with your partner, and you might seek perhaps like couples therapy. Perhaps you might need someone else to come in and help you sort your affairs out, and to present with you a different perspective, so that and help you make compromises with each other. Or perhaps you might just have a period of time where you the two of you figure out how to compromise with each other. But I do feel like you will be able to come to a very good resolution, and you will be able to find that connection with that other person. You may your any issues that you might face with the other person will go away, will be dissolved into the darkness, and you will find happiness and abundance and love and romance. It's okay for you to be in love with this other person. I think that's the bottom line of this pile. Oh, with realization, I think well for some of you it's coming to the realization that you don't have to be alone, that you can love again. And also, if you're in a committed relationship and perhaps facing some issues, I think that issues will come to light, and you will come to a resolution in 2021. Like, you'll suddenly just see the light, come to a realization that, hey, perhaps you don't have to be upset about something, perhaps they don't have to be upset about something, perhaps you realize a way to work your relationship out, and you will have the wisdom to do so. This is a very straightforward card. And also, I think that with wisdom and illumination, I think that, and moon even, I feel like you might reach a new dimension with your understanding of that other person, a new bond in which you become each other's it's almost like you're each other's guardian angels, and you give each other's wisdom that the other person might sometimes not see. You have a very harmonious relationship where both of you give things to each other, where both of you bring things into the relationship for each other. This is a very balanced, very loving relationship, I feel, although it might have ups and downs. You might have felt hurt in the past, but I do feel like you will get through it. You have nothing to lose. Right now, it's time for you to surrender to that love, surrender to romance. Not surrender to the other person, but surrender to the idea of romance, to the notion of romance, to any romantic any fantasy or any romantic fantasy you might have. Like, this is time for you to surrender yourself to it, to give in to that romance. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. But that's just what I feel. Because I think that some of you might feel a little bit jaded, like you feel like a romance doesn't exist, it's a lie. But in 2021, I think that for you, you might have been a very romantic person in the past and hold such fantasies in your heart. But because of the hurt that you have felt in the past, you've become cynical of that fantasy that you once held. But in 2021, it's time for you to go back to the self, your past self, where you believe in all those grand romantic notions. Because in 2021, you will be with someone who makes you feel that kind of romance that's in fairy tales, the stuff of fairy tales, like the good fairy tales, not the scary, dark, rapey ones, of course. I don't know why I'm said that. I'm sorry, but just like Disney fairy tale, everything happy ending, that sort of stuff. With the priest card, I feel a little bit stumped by the priest card, to be honest. But I think that with the priest card and the judge card, the judge card is all about balance, making compromises, and having fairness, being in sync. But whereas the priest card, this might talk about someone who's very hung up on their own beliefs and ideas. So I think that this is a message for only a few of you. But if you are facing an issue where one of you in a relationship is being overpowering, I think that 2021 you'll be able to resolve that and come to a stage where you listen to one another. With the priest and the moon is about receptiveness, intuition, whereas the priest is someone who harnesses that it's more about society. It's someone who talks about spirituality to others. Who it's not about your connection with yourself. It's not about being receptive, but it's about it's like the Hierophant card in tarot. It's about a spiritual leader, someone who's almost like they're enforcing their beliefs on you. So I think that in 2021, it will be time for you to let go of that and transition into being more receptive of each other's feelings. I don't think that, because this is a romantic reading, I don't think this is talking about spirituality, but talking about how you handle things that are aspects of yourself that is not tangible, basically your feelings. So that's all I have for group 3. I hope you've enjoyed your reading. If you like this reading, please thumbs up, subscribe, and come for more readings. Thank you.